So we switch the perspective. This is the IO4. This is the number given to this output, intellectual output within the SELC project. And the perspective is from new and emerging social entrepreneurs. So let's say the trainees. And it's the integrated human-centered training design on social entrepreneurship. This is the name given to the intellectual output. Okay, so the beneficiaries, let's say the ultimate beneficiaries are young wannabe, new and emerging social entrepreneurs or social enterprises and hubs wishing to start up a social enterprise, such as cooperatives and so on, building a business and designing a project, of course, with sustainable personal, social and economic goals. This is a training pathway based on the human-centered design approach method and design thinking methods, of course, basically based on the using problem solving as a training method. This IO is basically based on three key milestones, let's say. The first one is the inspiration phase. This is how it is described, which basically introduces the learners to an overview of social enterprises in the SELC partner countries, of course, with case studies, as well as an overview to the human-centered design method. Then we have the central milestone, let's say, which is the ideation phase, and that deals with the strategies needed to carry out successful social entrepreneurial projects with the communities. So there is a focus on how to spot, identify the real needs of the people the wannabe entrepreneur, the new entrepreneur wishes to start the social enterprise for. So to dream up scores of ideas and create innovative new solutions rooted on the people's real needs, which is basically the core of the human-centered design approach, as I will show you very quickly. And then the last part is about implementing whatever has been built up and developed throughout the previous phases. And it introduces the learners to tools and methods, enabling them to design a social, entrepreneurial or business idea. So to build it and test their ideas before putting them into the real world. So having them become a living project. So again, the three key phases, which are clearly outlined in the IO4 are inspiration, so case studies for the SELC partner countries of social enterprises, and an overview to the human-centered method. Ideation, which is split into 4 key steps and relevant activities, tools, strategies, wherever, to generate the idea, build a project around it, prototype and pitch it. And then, sorry, I'm admitting Gabriel. And then to the last phase, which is again implementation. So it's the part where learners can really see assess, let's say, how their project idea is feasible and applicable within their countries. And this is a nice link to the first part where we introduce the social enterprises in SELC partner countries, so they can make a sort of comparison and see if there is any match. Sorry, a second. Okay, so basically, in chapters 3 and 5, we have the key ideation part. First, we have the inspiration part, which basically presents the types of social enterprises in the EU partner countries, and then the introduction to the human-centered method. Then we have the ideation, as I said, divided into 4 steps, which you can see at the bottom of the slide. So step 1 is about identifying the challenge. So there are tools and methods, strategies for learners to understand how to analyze the context, assess and debrief their community needs. Step 2 is about brainstorming to refine the issue and possible solutions related to the challenge identified in step 1. Step 3 is about prototyping and testing the idea. And step 4, designing a social entrepreneurial project plan through different tools, of course. And then the last part is allows learners to compare the key features of the social enterprises in Romania, Italy, and Cyprus with their own idea through a checklist. Now, just to make it a little bit, to introduce you very quickly to the human-centered design approach. I won't go into details, but I would just wanted to share with you that this is a process that starts with the people for whom the solution is designed and ends with something that meets the needs of these people. That can be a product or a service. So it's all about building a deep empathy. It's one of the key milestones of the human-centered design that you can see represented on the right in the image. So deep empathy with the people's needs and motivations, generating a lot of ideas, creating prototypes, sharing ideas and solutions with the people, and eventually taking the new innovative solution out in the world. Now, just to give you a real life example, the so-called no more door, surely you have encountered with one of these, and surely sometimes you've been pushing instead of pulling and vice versa. Okay, this is just to give an example of the human-centered design approach. So this is, what is the problem here? Is that we have two doors, one to be pushed and one to be pulled, where we have handles that are quite, how can I say, confusing for our brain. Because of course, when we see a handle, our idea, our immediate action is to pull it rather than push it. So what solution can we think of about this? Okay, so yes, as simple as that. A possible solution based on users' real needs is to remove the handle on the push side, because our brain won't see the handle, won't be led to triggered to pull it, but we will push it, and we will pull the right side of the door. And I like to read this quote to you from Dr. Singh, who said, "We spend a lot of time designing the bridge, but not enough time thinking about the people who are crossing it," which is true. That's why the human-based centered approach can really help to thinking about the people who are crossing the bridge. So if we are building, creating a product or a service for our community, first of all, we should be aware and able to analyze deeply the real needs of the people we are creating this service or product for. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of, of the IO4 presentation.